Hey everybody, Joseph Timmons here from IndiePulse Music Magazine. Well, here we are, the new technology age. With COVID-19 going on right now, it is really hard for musicians to get gigs. But for those of us in the music magazine industry, it's even harder because we can't do our interviews, we can't go see shows, we can't go to trade shows, and it's a mess. But with the advent of modern technology and Zoom, we're doing interviews again. And you are now going to watch our very first Zoom interview. I had the opportunity to connect with Samuel Welch. He is the CEO and founder of Welch Tuning Systems drums. Now, the Welch Tuning System drums is a great musical instrument series. I mean, you've got custom shells, a tuning system that is simple yet unique in construction, and the sound these drums make is just incredible. Now, you're going to see the interview between Samuel and myself, and we're going to have links down at the bottom of the screen, right where my fingers are pointing. Still trying to get the hang of this whole backward vision thing. Right down here, you're going to see the website links, social media links. I suggest you follow them all. Follow his website, his Facebook, his Instagram, and Twitter, because they're really up and coming. And they make great instruments. So I hope you enjoyed the video. It was recorded a little earlier. I'm doing this intro segment now. And I'm bopping my head back and forth, getting really confused because my head's going to the left, but it's going right here, and it's going to the right, and it's going left there. And basically, it's just as crazy as I am. Hello everybody, welcome to IndiePulse Music Magazine's first Zoom interview. Yeah, late adopter. Anyway, I'm here with the founder of Welch Tuning Systems, Samuel Welch. And I'm pronouncing that right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm from New York. Our language is completely different than English. Anyway, so little background on how we met. Normally, for those of you familiar with NAMM, that takes place in Anaheim or Nashville. It's where all the music manufacturers get together to show their wares, their goods, their instruments, as well as you meet with celebrities, musicians, etc. However, with COVID, didn't happen. But they did something online which I didn't think was going to work as well as it did, and I got to meet Samuel and a lot of other manufacturers on a little bit more of an intimate personal level. I actually got to talk to them. So Welch Tuning Systems, from what I gather, and of course we have the expert here to correct me if I'm wrong, which will inevitably happen, is a revolutionary new way of looking at and tuning drum system, or playing drums, I should say, because as you know, drums have all the lugs that hold the rim on, that holds the head in place, but it tends to deaden the sound. And as a drummer, I spend hours tuning my kit and it never ever sounds the same twice. But with the Welch Tuning System, you can get it to sound perfect every time. So Samuel, could you just explain, in normal, lowercase English, how it works?
Absolutely. So essentially we got rid of all the tension rods, and instead of having a tension rod at each point going around the drum hoop, you now have a pulley, and it's this highly engineered pulley assembly that's attached to the hoop. And then you have a cable that then runs from the top hoop to the bottom hoop to the top hoop to the bottom hoop, all the way around the drum. And it all goes into a single tuning knob. So essentially, this tuning knob, it's very similar to a guitar tuner, or an upright bass tuning machine, but it's one knob.
Like a wind-up key. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's one knob, and you turn it, and it tensions both heads at the same time. So it's putting uniform tension all the way around the drum on both top and bottom heads. And because it's a pulley system, and we've engineered this to be very, very low friction, what happens is when you start playing that drum, the tension equalizes. So you never have one point on the drum that's got higher tension than the other. it's an equalizing property of this pulley system, and so the head essentially clears itself as you're playing, and the result is pretty incredible actually. So you end up with a very pure tone from the drum. You know, the heads are always working together, so the heads are never going to fight each other, because you don't have individual lugs or tension rods. You know, they're never going to fight each other either. So you always have this beautiful uniform tension, and most notably, there's about 90% less hardware on the drum shell. So
The drums are lighter, freer, and able to really produce nice warm tones.
exactly. So not only is the drum always in tune with this system, but you actually have, I call it a wider tuning range. And most people think, well, lower lows and higher highs. That's true to a certain extent, but it's more that our drums sound better in more places. You know, a traditional drum set, you'll have 2 to 3 sweet spots on a drum shell, right? And when I say a sweet spot, that's where the drum's really resonating well and you're getting a nice resonant tone out of it. But on a traditional drum, at least in my experience, the in-between places are very dead. You know, they're not very resonant. You hit the drum and it kind of decays super quick, and it just doesn't sound very good. Well, that's because you have to not only get the drum shell to resonate, but all the hardware attached to a traditional tension rod drum also has to resonate. So
If I can interject for a moment,
yeah.
watching the videos that are available on your YouTube channel and through your site, one thing that I personally noticed, or let me skip that. Let me go back this way. A lot of times drummers will have to attach stuff to the drum to deaden some sides, so it gets rid of that overring.
Mhm.
And you know that creates even more dead spots, and your stick hits it and slides off, and it's a mess. But watching your videos after the heads have come together and it's tuned, you don't have to use any of that arbitrary stuff. It has more of a natural warm tone, and the sounds are incredible that come off those drums. So
Yeah.
I mean, looking at it, it's like you ever watch, or should I say, you ever see the old illustrations of drums from like the Civil War era, where you got the rope that goes around the drum? I
Yeah.
mean, it's funny that it hadn't been done sooner. I mean, how did you come up with this idea?
Well, it was well, and you know, to your point with the muffling of drums, you know, yes, the overtones are what people try to get rid of with muffling. For me, I'm actually a fan of overtones, but they have to be even and clear, and that's what you're hearing with our drums. There's plenty of overtones, but because it's all very even, it's a very pleasant sound. So, you know, you can
Right.
certainly mute, put moon gel or something on there if you want to, but you don't need to try to quell out sounds, you know. But yeah, you know, going back to the roots of this, it's definitely inspired by rope tension drums of old. But even cable tuned systems have been around since the late 1800s. You know, we're not the first to do this. There's been many companies actually who have tried cable tuned systems since the late 1800s. If you just look back in patent literature, you'll see many iterations of people trying this concept. But it really took the engineering and the conscious effort and the design and removing the barriers of friction
Mm-hmm.
so that you get the single tension system really works. And that's, I believe, in my opinion, been the problem where, you know, other iterations of this, they didn't take it far enough, or they took it too far, and you know, things got more complicated than they needed to be. But you know, the fact is we live in an age where a completely brand new idea is really hard to come by. Most innovation comes from improving old ideas. And you know, the WTS system, it has roots in rope tension, but it's combined with, you know, that thought process with, you know, modern engineering and design and technology that we now have. And that's, you know, these are the areas that, you know, the things that we've patented. You know, the way that our pulleys actually, you know, besides spinning, they actually actuate on 2 axes. So basically, as your drum gets tighter, all of those pulleys actually move with the cable and out again. So yeah, that's just one of many design features that's just made this be the best that it could.
Now,
Um,
you said that it gets in tune and stays in tune because the heads are brought together, and as you play, it finds its natural center. Like water will always find a level, the drums do the same. Can you
Right.
elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah. So essentially, with a pulley system, the tension is always going to equalize. Okay. You can't really have more tension on one side of a pulley than the other because its natural state, its path of least resistance, is to equalize. And so that's why that's one of the reasons why our system works so well, is because it allows that tension to equalize all the way around the drum. So that's something you're generally going for with tension rods anyway, right? We
Mhm.
go around and we tighten them and tap them and try to get it all even.
Annoying, to be honest with you.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's time consuming. If you practice, you can get good at it, but it's limiting. Even if you're great at tuning, WTS offers amazing benefits like tuning on the fly, tuning to the character of the music. You know,
And
drums
I
are
would assume the cable is very strong. It won't snap or kink or bend. I mean, it's solid.
Yeah, it's stainless steel braided cable. We have never had one break. It's it's overbuilt. Essentially, if you were to over tighten your drum with WTS, the first thing that would likely fail would be the head. We've had heads separate from their collars before, or the hoops start bending out of shape. Basically, you start destroying the drum before anything is going to happen to the cable. Safety and overbuilding and reliability are all huge priorities for us because I'm a working drummer myself. This is where I came from. So, and my name's on it, and I am, I wanted to build something that not only worked well, but consistently and reliably worked well for touring drummers, studio drummers, for every performance, so you can just have confidence in your instrument.
Now, how has this been received in the market? I mean, you've been doing this for a while, and again, you've got videos on your site where people say, "Hey, I love the drum," but I mean, you know, drummer to drummer, how has this been received by musicians as well as the market? I mean, when people see it, are they just like, "Wow," and blown away? I mean, I would assume so because when I went through and I saw it online, I'm like, this is new, and I like it because it seems just so simple yet so refined at the same time. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a caveman, so but it seems elegant, but it also makes complete and total sense.
Well, it's been an evolution in the way it's been received. So, initially, when people first saw this, they had, they worried about the strength of the cable, for instance, or they had a problem with the heads being tensioned the same, because a lot of drummers like to have different tonal relationships between the batter and resonant head.
Mhm.
But then the reviews started coming out. Then the people who actually put their hands on it started talking about it. What we noticed is a lot of people had kind of judgments about our system before they had even tried it for themselves. They kind of just assumed certain things about it.
Mhm.
But it has been well received to such a degree that I just couldn't be more proud because go to moderndrummer.com, read their review, watch their video demonstration, go on our website, look at all of the customer reviews, look at all of the artist reviews. We're talking people have won, you know, they're just so established in the industry that they would gain nothing from giving us a good review if they didn't feel that way.
Right.
These are honest reviews, and that's all I want is
Well, it's
honest
by the
reviews.
people that actually play the music. That
That's
use
right.
the product.
Absolutely. People are realizing that this not only works, it works very, very well. The quality of tone out of the drums is incredible.
No,
The playing experience is incredible. And to unlock an entirely new world of musicality with an instrument is almost unheard of. I mean, forever we've been stuck with a single tuning for entire performance.
mhm.
Now you have this enormous tonal palette of your drum set that's accessible at any moment. If you want a high tune kit for one song and a low tune kit for the next, I mean, it really just opens up a whole new world of musical freedom.
Some of the artists that have been using your drums, would you say they're more blues or jazz or more rock drummers, or do you just like fly the gambit?
All of the above, yeah. We've definitely worked with a lot of artists. A lot of our customers are just really across such a wide spectrum of musicians. One of the artists that we work with very closely, his name is Steve Pruitt. You'll know him from working with Jeff Lorber. He was with Snarky Puppy for a long time. Just a monster drummer, and can just pull any style out at any given notice. And he's really put out some amazing videos just showing the capabilities of this in all these different scenarios. But if you like low growly toms, you're gonna love these drums because they can actually go much lower than a traditional tension rod drum because you don't have tension rods that are gonna loosen up and fall out. If you're a jazz drummer and you want to play to the key or just love these high tunings or you want to change tuning, it's so applicable no matter where you're at. Even if you're a middle of the road classic rock drummer, you can, like you said, you can repeatedly get your sound. Every time you sit down your kit, you can tune exactly to where it was before because you don't have all of these different tension rods, all of these things to adjust. You have one tuning knob. So it really applies to everybody.
Here's a question for you. And I mean, everybody that's in the drum business, they want people to buy their drums. Mm-hmm. But I noticed that on your site, you have the tuning system itself available. So for instance, someone like me, matter of fact, one of the projects I got coming up and we're videotaping is I picked up 2 drum sets at a local thrift store. Mm-hmm. Spent like $120. The gem of it is that the snare was a pearl snare. That's worth quite a bit. It's actually a really old, nice pearl snare. The rest of it, not so much. But someone like me, I like to tinker with drums. Can somebody take the tuning system and with proper direction, put it on shells they already own and sort of develop their own unique drum set from it? Or is this something you really want to have done at the factory with the shells that you provide, which from what I see are very high quality?
Well, kind of both. So we do offer hardware and a hardware only buying option now, and that's new for this year. But it is directed towards people who are building their own drums or rebuilding drums. So we do not recommend retrofitting drums that have already been drilled for lugs. And the reason for that is that you would need to get rid of all that other hardware on the shell, and then you would have a shell that looks like Swiss cheese because it's got holes in it. So we do offer the hardware because there's a large community of people who like to build their own drums. You can buy shells with that have not been drilled, and a lot of people are doing that. And everyone from just the guy who just wants to build himself a drum kit to boutique builders who maybe they make these beautiful like steam bent shells, for instance, but then they just buy a generic hardware. So we're offering the WTS hardware for more of those people. Again, not so much as a retrofit, but more just so that people who they're building their own custom drum set, they can use our hardware as an option.
So if you have an artist that wants to have a particular type of shell that you're not manufacturing, they can get these parts to be able to do it themselves.
Yeah, there's that potential for sure. There's also collaborations. Mm-hmm. So we're very open to working with other drum companies, established companies. If you go on our website, you'll see an awesome collaboration with Outlaw Drums that we did. Actually, there's some more in the works happening right now with Outlaw and some other companies. So my number one goal is to get our tuning system out there. And I know that there's no one size fits all for shells. I don't want to be a competitor to these boutique companies and these, amazing craftsmen that are out there. I want to give them more options to offer their customers. I want people who want an Outlaw drum to be able to get that, and with the WTS hardware option, because the fact is there's some amazing craftsmen out there, and it's never been my goal to compete with them, rather to help them, to give them more options, to help their customers have more options to get into their shells, because so many people use the general tube lugs. We've seen so many custom drums out there with tube lugs. Here's a much higher quality and more innovative option for builders.
So tell us about the shells. I mean, obviously primarily the interview is about the tuning system, but since we've gone into the whole thing about drums and the manufacturing drums, tell me about the shells. You do actually go into length about the shells and their creativity and their creation and construction, but just from your point of view, I mean, what was the idea behind the development of the entire set?
Yeah, so for the Artistry Series, this is our flagship line. It's made in the USA, 100% maple shells, 8 ply, just as high quality as it gets when it comes to shells. We work with various manufacturers to build our instruments. People have been doing this for a very long time. So this isn't like a little home-based operation. We're working with manufacturers who build our drum shells, who put the pristine finish on to our specs, hand cut bearing edges. Like every aspect of the Artistry Series is about quality. We do a 12 coat lacquer finish on those drums that it looks like you could just reach right into the side of it. And so yeah, our Artistry Series, it's really the best drums that we can build, that we can put together based on the technologies that's out there, the partners we've developed. It's really, I would put our drums on a quality level next to any other drum manufacturer out there. And then we also launched our Epiphany Series this year, which
Right.
is a
That's what
more
I'm looking at right now over here. I was going to
yeah,
say, when you first come up to when you first come up to your website, that nice, rich black kit that's right on the front, and
yeah.
it's beautiful. And then you scroll down, and then you see the white kit, and I'm like, all right, now I'm in trouble because I want both of them. You know,
Yeah, and those are actually both the Artistry Series. Those are lacquer finishes. That satin black is a 12 coat lacquered
beautiful.
black finish, and it's gorgeous. And then yeah, and those are high end professional instruments, and price point we're right up there with all of the other high end brands. Obviously, we add more value with our tuning system being part of that. But then our Epiphany Series, this is like our new drum set for 2021. And this is the working drummers kit. So,
Mm-hmm.
taking my experience as a working drummer, here's like what I would play on, what I would purchase for gigs. This it's coming in about half the price of the Artistry Series. The way we're able to do that is we're using a different kind of shell, still very high quality, and we're using wrap finishes. So the wrap is much less labor intensive finish. It's very durable. It's gorgeous. It allows us to offer these beautiful sparkle finishes. And this is just a very versatile shell pack for the working drummer. It's a 3-piece with a 12-inch rack tom, 14-inch floor tom, and a 20-inch kick. So it really, it's not genre specific. It's not stage specific, whether it's a home studio or a full-on recording studio, whether it's a dive bar or a big stage. Like this is the do all kit. And with our tuning system, you have this huge range of tones. So it really fits into everything you'd want out of a working drummer's kit. And again, it's coming in much more affordably as well. So we really wanted to offer a wide array of products for every drummer to be able to get into WTS.
Now, where do you see the company or your vision of the company going in the next, say, 2 to 3 years? I mean, obviously, right now with COVID, not a lot of gigs going on. A lot of artists are struggling, but they're strong. They're
Mhm.
keeping it together. But one thing I'm hoping is that this blows over, and then we can get back out there. And of course, people are going to need equipment. People are going to want unique designs. People are really wanting to have something on stage that embodies how they view things. Where do you see your company fitting in there?
Yeah, so for one, I am super optimistic of where we're heading, and I know that our live music is going to come back, and we're going to be prepared for that. I think that people are going to hit live music twice as hard. I know I am on a personal level. I cannot wait to get back on stage. I cannot wait to go see live shows and go to festivals. And I mean, a year without live music is really difficult, and I think people are just going to hit it super hard. And musicians are resilient. You have to be a working musician. Even in a normal world, it's hard to be a working musician and take care of yourself. So, I think everyone's going to come out of this and have a new appreciation for live music, and we're going to be there to support that. As far as how our company fits in, this Epiphany series, I believe, it's going to fill this a want for affordable professional drums And I think versatility is going to be the name of the game. I think that, musicians are constantly looking for more and more versatility out of their kit. And I think that working musicians are going to hit it that much harder. If they're anything like me, they're probably going to be playing with multiple acts, multiple genres. To have one kit that can do all of that, I think is really going to fit in, and that's exactly how we've designed the Epiphany series. So, as far as our place in this market, you know, luckily we're no longer a new company. We're still, fairly fresh on the scene, but it's no longer a question of if this works. We have proven that this
Oh no,
works and it
I can
works
tell just
well.
from seeing what I've seen that it's going to last a long time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, because we've passed that hurdle, now it's just just getting it out there again with the Epiphany series. I think that we are going to really really be picking things up this year and the years ahead. Again, we are kind of setting a new standard for versatility. For a kit that you can change on the fly, change the tuning on the
It's
fly.
beautiful equipment,
Hmm.
really. I
Yeah.
mean, not just because I got you on the screen here, but I mean, I saw it and I was like, wow. I I the article I wrote for the magazine that talked about it, I went pretty much with what I could find available before I got to talk to you in person. But I really enjoyed writing it because I got to learn more about what you're doing, and I really want to help as much as I can to help spread the good word. So I'm going to take this, make a little video for it. The first Zoom video, first, first one, and hopefully we can do some good for you.
Oh, well, we very much appreciate that. But yeah, quality is so important to me. There's a lot of cheap stuff out there. I personally, I'm a craftsman. I'm a blacksmith by trade. I'm an artist. I care very much about, my name as an artist and about putting, products into the world that last, that are quality. Quality is just so important to me. And yes, I do think that that really shines through in what we're offering. And certainly, drummers are recognizing that. People in the industry are recognizing that WTS is not just about an innovative tuning system; it's about quality instruments built for
Well,
real musicians.
you got NAM's Best in Show. You got Editor's Choice. You've gotten a lot of awards for what you're doing, and like you said, you've been around a while, but still, you're a very young man. You'll be doing this for a long time, so I can only imagine what sort of mountaintops you're going to climb with this.
Well, and I like to, I consider myself a forward thinker as well. So I've got a whole book of ideas to take this to the next level. And yeah, you can definitely expect some really great things to come out of WTS in the years to come. We've been just super grateful so far for the reception and the support from our industry, from drummers and, industry magazines. Just everyone has been so supportive of what we're doing. And we, even though 2020 posed its challenges for our industry as a whole, it's also made us better community members, better support for our retailers and our musicians. And I think that coming into 2021 and the years ahead are going to be very, very bright.
Well, it's great talking with you, Samuel. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. And the Believe in Music program that NAM's doing right now, I'm sure it's putting you through your paces. So I'm going to let you go, let you get some sleep, because tomorrow's probably going to be a big day for you. And keep rocking those drums. I really like what you're doing, and anything I can do to help, just let me know.
Well, thank you very much for your support. Appreciate your time as well, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your show.
I most definitely will.
All right. Excellent.
Take it easy.
All right. Goodbye. Thanks again.